Today, I'm sharing 12 must-knows to save money on Cunard Wi-Fi. And at the end, I'll give you 2 simple strategies, one for the biggest possible saving and one for the easiest saving. Cruise Wi-Fi is expensive, and Cunard is no exception. On land, we take cheap, fast internet for granted, but at sea, once you're away from the coast, internet has to come by satellite. So let's jump straight into the very first way to avoid overpaying. 1. Stop buying Wi-Fi on embarkation day. In this video, I think the key thing to understand is this. Whilst the obvious saving is to pre-buy your Wi-Fi, the bigger saving is often buying fewer days in the first place. So, if you haven't pre-purchased your Wi-Fi, think carefully before buying it the moment you get on board. First, you'll probably still have local mobile signal for much of the day, which you can use or even hotspot to other devices. Second, embarkation day is busy with boarding, unpacking, and possibly having a glass of something sparkling, which, in my experience, tends to slow down the need for Wi-Fi rather effectively. Because onboard voyage plans are charged by the day, waiting until the next morning saves you an entire day's charge. To put that into perspective, Cunard's published prices are currently $22 per day for essential Wi-Fi, if bought for the voyage, or $30 per day for premium Wi-Fi, and that includes video streaming. And while these prices can change depending on your sailing, skipping just that first day instantly keeps that money in your pocket. 2. Use your free hour strategically. Cunard gives every guest 1 complimentary hour of Wi-Fi. Just to be clear, you don't need paid Wi-Fi to use My Voyage. You can still see the daily program, book restaurants, and check your onboard account for free. But anything outside My Voyage, emails, websites, WhatsApp, YouTube, needs internet access. So don't waste the free hour, because once you start it, the clock runs for a strict 60 minutes. If day 2 is a busy day and you only need a quick check-in for messages and emails, use your free hour then and delay buying your Wi-Fi plan until day 3. By skipping embarkation day and using your free hour carefully, you've just saved yourself 2 days of Wi-Fi charges. And if this is useful, do consider subscribing. Curious to Travel is mostly about Cunard, with a sprinkling of other travel experiences, and unlike your Wi-Fi, subscribing is completely free. 3. Buy Wi-Fi later in the voyage. When you buy Wi-Fi on board, you can buy it either as a 24-hour pass, which costs a bit more, or at the cheaper daily rate for the rest of your voyage. And this is where the savings can become meaningful. Every night you go without buying the voyage plan is 1 less day to pay for. For example, on a 7-night voyage, buying premium Wi-Fi from embarkation day costs $210. But if you wait until the morning of day 4, you only pay the remaining 4 days. That's now $120. Of course, the trade-off is obvious. You won't have full internet access for the first few days, apart from your free hour. But if you can live with that, this can be one of the biggest savings. 4. Use your mobile data in port. On port days, you may not need Cunard Wi-Fi at all. Many UK mobile plans include overseas roaming, or offer it as a low-cost bolt-on, especially in parts of Europe. So check your itinerary, check your phone plan, and use your own mobile data where it makes sense. But, very important, switch back to airplane mode before the ship sails. Once you leave port, your phone may connect to expensive maritime networks, and that can become very costly very quickly. Personally, I only use mobile data when the ship is actually berthed. Coastal sailing, fjords, and nearly still in range moments are too risky for me. I'd rather buy the ship's Wi-Fi than accidentally rack up sky-high roaming charges that would cost much more. 5. Consider an eSIM for port days. Another option for port days is a travel eSIM, such as GigSky. However, these won't help when you're deep at sea. But if your normal mobile plan doesn't cover the countries you're visiting or charges too much for roaming, an eSIM may be cheaper. For many people though, your ordinary mobile plan will be enough. So don't buy an eSIM unless it solves a specific roaming problem. And again, airplane mode before you sail. 6. Use 24-hour passes tactically. If you only want occasional internet access, a 24-hour pass may be better than buying Wi-Fi for the rest of the voyage. It costs more per day, it's currently $44, but it gives you exactly 24 hours from the moment you start it. So don't start it casually, time it around when you actually will use it. For example, if you've got 2 sea days in a row, and the first one is full of onboard activities, you might start the pass at say 4 or 5 p.m. You then have Wi-Fi that evening, overnight, the next morning, and through to the following afternoon. So instead of thinking, I need Wi-Fi today, have a look at how you'll be spending your time and ask, which 24-hour window gives me the most use? 7. Think about how many devices you need online at the same time. A standard Cunard Wi-Fi plan lets you use one device at a time, but that does not mean it's tied to one person or one physical device. So if you're travelling as a couple, you could save money if you're happy to take turns. One person logs off, the other can log on. And that can save a lot of money, but it only works if you both don't want to be online at the same time. There is one practical warning though. If you're using WhatsApp or messaging to find each other on board, you'll both need access at the same time. Cunard ships may not be huge by modern standards, but let me tell you, when I'm hunting across 12 decks for Tim, they are still more than big enough. Incidentally, if you want up to 4 devices online at the same time, Cunard currently charges double. For a family, this 4-device option may make sense. 4 people could each have one device connected at the same time for double the price, not 4 times the price. 8. Don't overbuy premium if essential will do. We've seen how Cunard offers 2 levels of Wi-Fi, essential and premium. Essential is for things like browsing, email, messaging, basic social media. Premium is the one for streaming, music, video calls, and more data-heavy use. So be honest about what you actually need. If you mainly want to check emails, read the news, use WhatsApp, or browse the internet, essential may be enough. But if you want YouTube, Netflix, video calls, live sport, or to upload and download larger files, you probably need premium. The saving is simple. Don't pay for premium unless you actually use what premium gives you. 9. Prepay if you want Wi-Fi every day. If you definitely want Wi-Fi for the whole voyage and you want easy access every day without having to think about it, then prepaying may be the simplest saving. Cunard currently gives 10% off if you buy your Wi-Fi package through My Cunard up to 4 days before you sail. And Cunard currently says pre-booked Wi-Fi packages can be cancelled for a full refund up to 3 days before departure. So if you know you'll use it every day, prepay, take the 10% saving and relax. 10. Watch for occasional pre-purchase sales. On top of the usual 10% saving, Cunard sometimes runs extra pre-purchase offers on things like Wi-Fi, drinks packages, spa treatments, excursions and gifts. They don't happen all the time, and Wi-Fi is not always included, but when it is, you may get a little more off. For example, here's a recent Valentine's offer which gave another 5% saving. 11. Cunard World Club Credit. Cunard World Club is Cunard's loyalty program, and while I personally think Cunard's loyalty benefits are a little underpowered, the Wi-Fi credit is genuinely useful. Gold members currently get $45 per person, Platinum get $80, and Diamond get $135 per person per voyage. Now, I wouldn't book extra voyages just to chase a bit of Wi-Fi credit, but if you already have Cunard status, it's a nice perk. And importantly, if you pre-purchase your Wi-Fi, you don't lose that credit. Cunard currently says it's added automatically to your onboard account instead, as a general onboard credit. One little Cunard quirk. If you book a transatlantic crossing and return, Southampton to New York and back, or New York to Southampton and back, you may get 2 lots of credit, even if you booked it as one trip. Don't ask me why, but thank you, Cunard. 12. Be careful with the signature packages. Before we come to my 2 saving strategies, the final must-know is to be careful with Cunard's signature packages. These pre-purchase bundles combine drinks, Wi-Fi and dining credit, promising savings of up to 30%. But I wouldn't view them as Wi-Fi packages. I'd think of them as drinks packages with Wi-Fi attached. If a drinks package already suits how you travel, the numbers might work beautifully. But if you mainly just want internet access, tread carefully. The packages are rigid, and unlike standard Wi-Fi plans, their cancellation rules are much stricter. I'll be doing a separate video soon that properly unpacks the signature packages. For today, the rule is simple. Don't buy a massive drinks bundle just to get online access unless you're certain the whole package actually saves you money. Now, as promised, here are the 2 saving strategies I would definitely use. The first is the biggest saving strategy. This is for people who want Wi-Fi but don't need it all the time. So, don't prepay. On embarkation day, use your mobile data while you're still in port, and then enjoy your first evening on board. On day 2, use your free hour. On port days, use your mobile data or an eSIM, but remember to switch airplane mode back on before you sail. I've said that before, haven't I? Then, on sea days, use 24-hour passes tactically. If you have 2 sea days together, start the pass at a time that gives you the best value. Perhaps afternoon and evening on day 1, then morning and early afternoon on day 2. That is where the biggest saving comes from, not just getting a discount, but buying fewer days. And this can even work on itineraries with no port days, such as a transatlantic crossing. For example, let's take a 7-night crossing using premium Wi-Fi. Buying the voyage plan on board would currently cost $30 times 7 days. That's $210. Instead, you could do this. Day 1, embarkation, no charge. Day 2, use your complimentary hour. Days 3 and 4, one 24-hour pass, $44. Days 5 and 6, one 24-hour pass, $44. Day 7, one 24-hour pass, $44. Total cost, $132 at today's pricing, and that saves you $78. And if you skip one of those 24-hour passes altogether, the cost drops to $88, saving you $122, which is quite a saving, especially for something that most of us are trying to use less of on holiday anyway. And now on to the second strategy, which is the easiest saving strategy. If you know you want Wi-Fi every day, prepay through my Cunard. But instead of taking the 10% saving straight away, wait. Keep an eye on your emails for those occasional Cunard pre-purchase offers. They don't always include Wi-Fi, but when they do, you can save a little bit more. So that's the simplest strategy. Wait to see if Cunard offers an extra Wi-Fi saving. But whatever happens, prepay before the 4 days deadline. At the very least, you'll save your 10%, possibly more, and you keep your money in your own account for longer too. Then you can enjoy having Wi-Fi for the whole voyage without having to think about it. As a closing thought, whilst this video is about saving money, there's no shame in just buying the Wi-Fi at full price if you want it. You're on holiday. Cunard's Wi-Fi is currently powered by Starlink, and in my experience it's reliable and fast, even in the middle of the Atlantic. And that's pretty remarkable if you stop and think about it. I'm old enough to remember writing letters to stay in touch with people and waiting days, even weeks, for a reply. But personally, if there's a saving to be had, I'll usually try to find it. So, what about you? Do you try to save on Wi-Fi, or do you just buy it and relax? And do you have any tips that I've missed? Let us all know in the comments. And if you're preparing for your Cunard voyage, click here for my 11 must-dos for a Cunard Embarkation Day video, because getting day one right can make the whole voyage much smoother. Thank you very much for watching. I'm David from Curious to Travel. Stay curious.